Welcome to a Triton training video. This is a Day 1 tutorial about using Relay 2 to activate an inhibitor pump. With so many ways to access the Triton's easy-to-use web interface, especially our built-in Tri-Fi Wi-Fi hotspot, we'll demonstrate the manual controls, lockouts, and alarm settings for Relay 2 using the web interface. If you are using the front panel menus, however, the settings and controls are the same. Picking up where we left off in Part 1, let's look at the manual controls. There is a manual on and manual off function that will temporarily take the relay out of auto control and force the relay to activate or deactivate. But there are two additional features that are very useful. If you had set the relay to deactivate with the manual off function, for example, and you are ready to let the relay go back to the auto control mode, you don't have to remember what control mode it was using. You simply select the Return to Auto item, and the controller will automatically return to the previously active auto control mode. The manual on function has the same Return to Auto feature, but it also has a manual limit setting. When the manual limit is set to a non-zero value and you use the manual on function, when the manual limit is reached, the relay will automatically return to the previously active auto control mode. Now you can slug an extra dose of chemical by setting an appropriate manual limit for the pump, employing the manual on function, and walking away. Now let's take a look at the relay lockout feature. I sometimes call these the regular lockouts, just to distinguish them from the alarm lockouts, which we'll discuss in a moment. Any relay you select here in the lockout menu will be deactivated when this relay activates, or will be prevented from activating if it tries to activate while this relay is already active. This is not an automatic mutual lockout, however, like some controllers. We allow you to set that up yourself, if that is what you want. For example, if you recall the Relay 1 video, we set a lockout from the bleed valve relay on all three chemical pumps, but we are not going to set a lockout from these chemical pumps on the bleed valve. This is what I call prioritizing the bleed, where the bleed will always occur, even if a chemical was pumping. But don't worry that the locked out chemical feed will be lost. It will only be postponed until the bleed ends. Then we'll resume. The Triton is very intelligent about lockouts and can properly handle multiple lockouts of a single or multiple relays. A lockout you may want to set for a chemical pump relay is on some other pump relay if the chemicals are not compatible to pump simultaneously. This is also where the additional lockout setting can be useful, to allow the first chemical time to disperse before the lockout is released on another pump relay. Time to look at the relay's alarm settings. A relay can only have an alarm condition if it is being controlled by an input sensor, and then only if the sensor has an error or the relay stays activated longer than its limit timer setting. The first relay alarm setting is the relay reaction, what this relay will do if it goes into alarm. The no reaction option allows the auto control mode to continue to function normally, even though these alarm settings will take effect. No reaction is the factory default setting for a bleed valve. But for a chemical pump like this relay, it is set by default to force off, which will deactivate this relay until the alarm is cleared. This is designed to prevent a pump from running forever if the input sensor measurement does not respond to the pump running due to a sensor failure, empty chemical drum, misplaced hose, loss of prime, and so forth. The alarm lamp setting is straightforward. You can decide if you want an alarm on this relay to make the alarm LED come on flashing, on constant, or stay off. The option to send alarm emails is on by default, but it can't function until the email addresses are set up and the Triton has a connection to the internet. The Turn Relay On menu is expected to be used if the particular installation is using an alarm relay to activate an external annunciator, like a bell or a strobe. But for this controller, I'll be using Relay 8 for a Tower 2 biocide pump, and there will be no alarm relay. Finally, the alarm lockouts. This would only be used in special cases, where you want to stop some other relay from activating when this relay goes into alarm. For example, if this relay were pumping some precursor chemical for some other chemical, and you didn't want that other chemical to pump if this relay went into alarm. That's all for part 2, showing how to set up Relay 2 to control an inhibitor pump on the Triton controller. So it's time to put the big green check on this tutorial. Thank you for watching.